Mr. Chairman, General Lynch, I want to commend you and the Department of Justice on the fact that 70 individuals have been charged since 2013 for conduct related to foreign fighter activity and homegrown violent extremism. General Lynch, this committee has previously heard how ISIL and other terrorist organizations field potential recruits in publicly accessible social networking sites via encrypted messaging platforms and also over voice-over internet apps. Are these encrypted private messaging platforms and also voice-over internet apps hampering the ability to quickly ascertain and address threats to national security, and if so, in what ways?
Well, Congressman, thank you for the question. Certainly when individuals choose to move from open means of communication to those that are encrypted, it can cause a disruption in our ability to use lawful legal process to intercept those communications, and does give us concern about being able to gather the evidence that we need to continue in our ongoing mission for the protection of the American people.
How so?
Well, with respect to individuals in this country, what we have seen is communications. This is in regard to specific cases. We've seen communications between them and individuals urging them to commit acts of violence, acts of terrorism, and then those individuals dropping from one type of communication to an encrypted method of communication, and we no longer have visibility into those discussions. And so,
well, when you say no longer have visibility into those discussions, can you break that down and explain exactly what you mean?
Certainly. Typically, we would, with a lawful court order, go to a communications provider and focusing specifically on individuals against whom we had probable cause to believe were involved in criminal activity, including terrorist activity, obtain the authorization to review their communications in the past as well as on an ongoing basis. When individuals move to an encrypted platform, one that is not accessible by the provider themselves, then we have a situation where we're not able to have our court orders handled in the typical way. That is to say, we're not able to receive that information and ascertain what these individuals are planning, and also, just as importantly, with whom they're planning these actions. And so we rely on other methods and means, but that is a loss of an important means, an important law enforcement tool.
Is there any way that the department can overcome the use of encrypted data and voice communications by terrorists who are trying to recruit within the borders of the United States, or a terrorist plot taking place between persons inside the United States? Take, for example, the terrorist incident in Paris this past weekend, where I heard one expert say that he would be shocked if the terrorists were not using encrypted communications, perhaps even during the terrorist events. How can the department thwart that kind of activity taking place here on United States soil, given the fact that we have these encrypted communications?
Well, certainly it makes it very challenging. Our approach has been to work with the electronic companies, the internet providers, on a case-by-case basis, and help them find a way, or work with them to find a way to allow them to respond to the valid legal process. And certainly we're having conversations with the industry as a whole to make sure that they can in fact comply with legal process and provide us the information that we need. We rely on other means of surveillance, other means of gathering intelligence about those individuals and their associates, but it does cause us the loss of a very valuable source of information.
Okay, with that, I will yield back and thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Gentleman from Georgia yields back.